This video is going to show you how to use Control Center to configure and download data from your Velocitic device. In the first half of this video, I will walk through the procedure to download and replay the GPS data. If you want to learn how to configure or update firmware on your Velocitic device, skip to the second half of this video. When you connect your Velocitic device to the PC, Control Center will take a second to initialize communication with the device. Once the communication is initialized, make sure that the model and firmware version are correct. GPS data is organized into track segments. If you have GPS data on the device, the track segments and their start and end times appear in the lower text box. To download data, check the desired track segment and click the download button. You can monitor the download in the lower left-hand progress bar. Save the data by going to File, then Save. GPS data is stored as a VCC file, a proprietary file format. To export GPS data into other formats, go to File, Export, and select the desired format. GPS Action Replay is a third-party software bundled with Control Center, which replays GPS data. GPS Action Replay can be launched from Control Center by clicking on the Play with GPS Action Replay button. For more information on how to use GPS Action Replay, go to www.gpsactionreplay.com. Now that I am done with this GPS file, I can go to File, Close, to get back to interacting with the Velocitic device. All Velocitic devices keep the GPS data for the most recent 20 hours of your sailing. It is not necessary to erase GPS data after every session. To erase GPS data from your device, go to Setup, Erase all track segments. In the second half of this video, I will demonstrate how to update user information, device settings, and firmware on a Velocitic device. You must have the latest firmware on your device to update user information and device settings. If you do not have the latest firmware version, perform a firmware update. User information can be stored on your device. Inputting user information on your device is not necessary, but useful for identifying your Velocitic device at events or if you own multiple devices. Go to Setup, Update user information, input your user information, then click OK. Notice that the user information has been updated. This menu is only available if you have the latest firmware on your SC1 or SpeedPuck. SC1 and SpeedPuck device operation can be configured by editing device settings. View and edit device settings by selecting Setup, Update device setting. Hold your mouse over the controls for a quick explanation for each device setting. Here I will change the speed display units from knots to kilometers per hour. You must have the latest firmware on your SC1 or SpeedPuck to update device settings. Firmware is the computer program that runs on your Velocitic device. We release new firmware periodically to improve device functionality. We recommend that you always update to the latest firmware version. The firmware can be updated by selecting Update Firmware from the menu. Then select the desired firmware to update to. I'm going to update the firmware to SC1 2.5 full. The process normally takes 3 minutes, so go grab a coffee while the Control Center updates the firmware. You can view the progress on the lower left-hand progress bar. After the firmware update is complete, click OK. Notice now that the firmware version has changed to 2.5 full. If you get a communication error, unplug the device, make sure the power is on, and plug it back into the PC. You can also update the firmware by using the batch file. This procedure is recommended when the SC1 or SpeedBuck fails to initialize communication with Control Center. The batch file will skip the initialization and proceed directly to update firmware. Before doing so, make sure that the drivers are installed, Control Center is closed, and Velocitec device is powered. Go to C, Program Files, Velocitec, Velocitec Control Center, and double-click on the associated BAT file for a Velocitec device. And this concludes the Control Center tutorial. Thanks for checking this video out. If you have questions, contact us at support@velocitec.com.